If you're a business owner stuck at 10 lakh per month and unable to progress, then this video is for you. Here are 11 steps to follow to break that ceiling and scale higher than 10 lakh. We have worked with multiple companies who are stuck at the same revenue, be it 10 lakhs, 30 lakhs and 50 lakhs. That's the usual trend we see, that above that it's hard for them to scale. And we have helped them break that ceiling and scale. By now, you should have already cracked a decent website because you are already doing 10 lakh per month. Then you should have cracked hero product which sells best, and then your unique value proposition that customers care about. As in, what is that you stand for, why you exist as a brand, and what kind of differentiated products you give. All the three things you should have clear clarity on. Next, before scaling your anything, fix all these things. First, identify products that can scale, because some products intrinsically cannot scale because people don't need as many of them. So, next, estimate the worst case scenario you have for scale and still build a cushion for the worst case scenario. Your ability to take risk as a founder is always optimistic, but always build a cushion so that the business does not shut down. Next, assess the whenever scaling growth, it is important, and bailout ROAS there. So whenever scaling growth is important, the bailout ROAS should be there. As in, if the ROAS hits below this mark, I'll bail out and stop scaling. That should be the criteria. Don't stop just because a particular ROAS is not being hit. Discuss it. Then, monitoring of ad comments and engagement on ads will start to increase now as you scale. So that should be monitored, and it does affect performance. Increase frequency of posting on social media. This is an optional criteria, but when you increase frequency as more people are visiting it, they'll most likely see a fresh content. Next, the best way to scale rapidly in any ad account is to go slow. Yes, it is oxymoronic as a statement, but it is actually to go slow when scaling. Because as you go slow, the compounding effect takes place. Otherwise, when you go and iterate fast, though you are scaling fast, the eventual bail down, when you actually trickle down in terms of performance, is very rapid, and it has worsened many brands that I have seen who have scaled rapidly and then saw fall from a cliff. Next, most important thing before scaling is to build a forecast. This forecast should be of concretely about the numbers. It should be about the revenue, ROAS targets for each month, for each week, and align your all team on the marketing calendar. In marketing calendar, you specifically talk about what are the things people care about, what are the events or offers you are going to plan, what is the landing page created, what the creatives required for that. So all those discussions are made 1 month prior before launching the marketing calendar. Next, creative requirements will scale. So build a 17 to 14 day creative backup, which you can refresh it if the new creatives do not work. Always have a 7 to 14 day backup creatives. Next, at least 3 time tested concepts of creatives should be there before you start scaling. These are not iterations but concepts. Concepts meaning, once you talk about being your product being natural, second you talk about your product being comforting. Whereas iterations are, it is natural, and then you say ingredients are made of no junk. So both are referring to the same thing, which is being natural. So with each different messaging, your concept should have 3 different concepts for every product that you're wanting to scale. Next, during scaling, there will be surprises. Your best ads will fail after some time. There, don't blame the algorithm, because if you blame the algorithm, you cannot actually do anything about it. Then accept that the messaging has faded out and you have to create a new creative which requires a different messaging. Just accept that as a fact, and you will be ability to scale, and the mindset shift within your team will be huge. Focus on investing in top of the funnel expansion via explainer ads, collaborations, and copy content styles from the best creators. When you start scaling, your top of the funnel expansion is important. Scaling does not mean you pump in more budget to the bottom of the funnel or people who are already aware of the brand. Scaling means expand your top of the funnel, which means it can be expanded via explainer ads. Explainer ads are particular product ads which explains everything about the product, starting from the features and what it can do, what it cannot do, everything. So these explainer ads, as they are longer, people tend to watch them also, because if you can make them interesting, and they also expand a lot of funnel. Because you're talking about multiple things, it reaches a wider segment of audience, given that it is interesting and enthusiastic in terms of video. Collaborations are important to find out and unlock small segments of audience you might have missed when reaching the 10 lakh mark, and beyond that you require those small segments to come in so that you can expand further. Then copy content styles from the category creators. For example, if you are sell a home decor product, then go to YouTube and find out home decor channels and look at their shorts. Look at shorts with millions of views. Can you copy the content style they are using? Can you copy that in ad? Because if it's organically getting millions of views, it is more likely to work. Next, 10 insights to consider when scaling. Number one is start diversification of your audience by finding from where audience can find out about your brand. You need not, it does not be always that, okay, I'm advertising on Meta, I'll advertise on Google. Instead, go for collaborations, go for PR activities like that. Start diversifying your audience from where audience can enter into your brand kingdom. Number two, you have got some value proper messaging winners by now. Now iterate on them. See, you have seen that natural as a concept works better. Now start iterating on them. For example, you can say chemical free care, say goodbye to harsh free chemicals and hello to natural goodness. Or same thing you can say natural also, effective skincare powered by natural ingredients. So both are referring to the same things, but they are communicated differently. So iterations means you are communicating the same thing but in a different way. Number three, start building a base of 3 to 5 influencers whom you can constantly collaborate with, and they start posting your content so that it builds relevance with the audience entirely, and measure their purpose as their effectiveness by conversions and not just by reach. Always measure influencer activity by conversions also. Yes, you cannot have exactly attributed, but you can give them a coupon code or you can give them a dedicated landing page. So all that is possible still. Number 4, brands fail as they take big risks and the revenue slides even more down than before. This is why I was referring to that always have a calculated risk in mind. Take small risks but with asymmetric exposure. For example, you can have a small risk taken, for example, creating this creative of say shooting a founder ad. There, the downside is it does not work, but the upside is it works and blasts off the account and creates a good momentum for other ads to work. So those kind of risks should be there where there's asymmetric upside and low downsides. Number 5, start adding new products to advertise because you want to expand into different categories. Or it can also be that you can expand the existing audience through different categories. For example, they have bought a home decor product, say a table cover. You can also expose these audiences to a showpiece like that. Number 6, focus on active customer profile and retention marketing. Active customer profile is nothing but people whom you have acquired in the last 30 to 90 days based on what the duration you want to consider, and people who have repurchased from your brand in the last 30 to 90 days. Again, the number of days depends on what is your timeline from where the customer lapses, which means what is your timeline where 80% of the customer has lapsed and he is never going to return back. This differs for every brand, and hence active customer profile should be monitored as if the active profile shrinks, it means your CAC will start to rise and your product is not bringing back the customers again. Number 7, build multiple funnels. As I was referring to, add more products. This is to build multiple funnels for the customers to enter into your brand. Some might be interested in particular flare pants, or some might be also interested in jeggings. So both are interested. Yes, there is overlap, but majority of them it's not an overlap. Number 8, monitor these graphs constantly. You need not monitor every day, but you can monitor them week on week as to what's the AOV and CAC ratio. Is the AOV rising better than what CAC is rising? Then look at revenue per visitor. Is it better? Is it constant? Look at new and returning visitors. This gives you an idea of what the profile is as to are more returning customers. Am I reaching via ads, or is it new customers? Number 9, invest in non-conversion campaigns, but don't expect any result in 90 days. These non-conversion campaigns can be YouTube awareness campaign or a video view Facebook campaign. But don't expect anything to work in the first 90 days. Always push the bestseller in these non-conversion campaigns and let it run on a small scale budget, say less than 5% of your total ad budget into this campaign. Number 10, initially you will invest. Now the creative you need to use in non-conversion campaigns is the best creative which have already worked in the conversion campaigns. Number 10, initially you will invest more in ads and lose out on efficiency. So to trade for that, get more data. If you are losing out on efficiency, at least get more data of what is not working. But if you are losing efficiency and are losing on the learning, then it's very bad. You should immediately stop and reconsider and re-strategize in terms of whatever you are running. Number 11, focus on remarketing efforts, because this will become important. This will not occupy a huge chunk of your budget, but at least 10-12% of your budget can be allocated here in the scale of 10 lakh per month. Thank you for watching.